Hello, everybody. I'm Dave England. This right here is Wine with Dave. And tonight, my guest is Jeremy Gartner Ph.D. I want to call him an ex-rocket scientist. He's still a rocket scientist. He's still smart. Okay, he's still very smart. But he has a new business model that we got to talk about. Really cool. If you're interested in changing your career, tonight's episode is going to be exactly for you. You got to meet this guy. He will propel you into the stratosphere of the universe that you need to be working in, the one you want to be working in. He's got a lot of tips and everything. We're going to have Q&A. You can ask away. It's going to be great. So I got another camera. You can't see it, but it's a different angle. Wondering if anybody wants to see it. But before I show it, just type in where you're from. We got a couple people. Got like 3 people watching so far. I'm getting dinged in text. Yeah, just type in where you're from on the Wine with Dave page, and it will show up right there. See that? It just shows right up. And you can just show up, and I'll give you a little shout out. So I love doing the show. It's a lot of fun, man. Sometimes it's tiring. Like the weekend is like relaxing, and then Monday comes, and I get all excited. But today I'm just really juiced, really electrified. Can't wait to bring my guest on. So go ahead and just type in where you're from. I will hang out here, and we'll give you some shout outs. But this is my wine of the night. I am drinking barefoot. I'm drinking barefoot. Can you see that? Pinot Grigio. Pinot Grigio. It's nice. Got a nice snap to it. Nice fall snap. I'm not a wine connoisseur. I'm sure they don't use the word snap to describe wine. They don't do that. But anyway, hey, let's get on with the first segment. It's called Did You Know? It's really crazy facts, and it's in honor of tonight's guest who's very smart. And I think he's doing something very smart to help you change your career. So this is Did You Know? Brain Facts Edition. All right. You ready for this? Did you know that we get chills when we listen to music as a result of our brain releasing dopamine? When a song moves us, the anticipation from the peak moment in the song triggers this release. All right. That's cool. I think that's really cool. We get those, goosebumps. Did you know that we cry when we're very happy because our hypothalamus, am I pronouncing it right? Hypothalamus in our brain can't distinguish the difference between strong happiness and strong sadness. Is that crazy? That's why we cry when we're happy. There's a reason. That's why you're watching the show. Did you know the brain is the only object in the world that can contemplate itself? Think about that. I think that's pretty cool. The world's fastest supercomputer requires 24 million watts of power to operate, but our brains only require 20 watts and operates about 100,000 times faster. Our brains are just amazing. Did you know that exercise slows our brain's cognitive decline, and increased physical activity over the norm can slow our brain's aging by 10 years? Is that crazy? These are great little interesting tips. Little facts, little known facts. Here's a good one if you're into other languages. Let's see. Oh, Annie's on. Annie, have felt it hot echo new. Have felt it hot eho new. I don't know what that means. I'm sorry. You're going to have to retype that. Certain languages do not have terms for left, right, front, and back. That's certain languages. They don't use left, right, front, and back. Check this out. Rather, they use terms north, south, east, west People raised in these languages have been found to always know what direction they're oriented in, resulting in a type of phenomena called compass brain. That's crazy, huh? But who knew? Oh, I see, but who knew? Your fingers got a little sloppy there. That's okay, Annie. That's good. Glad you're on. Hey, go ahead and follow me. Click on the follow button. I run the show every night of the week. Love to have you. So glad you're on watching. Annie McCarthy. Where are you from, Annie? Type in where you're from. Curious. 73% of your brain is just water, which means that if you get dehydrated by more than 2%, you can suffer from a loss of attention, cognitive skills, and memory just by 2%. It's true. Keep hydrated, people. Here's another one that I think is fascinating. This was a research done. A group of researchers studied London taxi drivers and found that they had a larger hippocampus, the part of the brain responsible for memory. These are London taxi drivers. This suggests that the more you are forced to memorize, the larger this part of your brain grows. Good. Did you know you can actually improve your memory if you choose to eat seafood regularly? The fatty acids in these foods improve the memory storing parts of your brain. Who knew? Studies have found that when mothers speak to their babies, the children learned an average 300 more words by the age of 2. Did you know the brain cannot experience pain? Allows neurosurgeons to probe areas within the brain while patients are awake. They can then get real-time feedback from each patient, allowing them to pinpoint particular regions, like for speech or movement. That's cool. Did you know that every time that you remember something, you in turn strengthen your memory in your brain? Whenever the neural pathways of a memory are exercised, the brain makes new connections. The older and more times a memory has been remembered, okay? The older the memory, and the more times you try to remember it, the stronger that memory is. That's cool. Did you know during sleep your body produces a hormone that prevents you from getting up and acting out your dreams? 5 minutes after a dream, your body has already forgotten half of it. 10 minutes later, it's 90% gone from your memory. And lastly, and I think this is cool, our sense of smell is the only sense that is directly linked to our limbic system. This part of the brain specializes in physical, emotional, and psychological responses. This all means that good smells can change our moods drastically in a snap. I think that's fascinating. Thanks for showing up, all you people. I like to do this for the first 5 minutes or so. Did you know? And if you're just tuning in, this is Dave England. I'm your host. Warwick, Rhode Island. I've never said that before. I never said where I'm from. I'm drinking wine from my logo wine glass. Look at that. Look how cool that is. Hey, do you want to see my other camera angle? Got another camera I was telling you guys about. You ready? Boom! There I am. There I am. No one has seen behind the scenes. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain. Yeah, it looks nice here. And then look at this. I am really sloppy. Check that out. Look at that. I got a bottle of wine right here. You know, I'm actually in my socks. You'd never know it. Over here, professional. Anyway, I have fun. What do we got? Let's see, but who knew? Annie, you're from Warwick. Cool, Annie. We're both from Warwick. I get people all over the world that watch the show. It's random who I get. Great to have you, Annie. That's awesome. Today is Monday, September 21st, Annie. I don't know if you knew that. Just letting you know, and all you other people that are watching. Make sure you go ahead and follow me up there. Just follow the button. What happened today? You know what happened today? I'm going to share this right now. Let me see, Stonehenge. This happened today. What is this? Well, in 1915, okay, Cecil Chubb buys the English prehistoric monument Stonehenge for £6,600. English pounds. That's right. That I don't know what that would be worth. $8,000 English American money. Stonehenge was put up for auction in 1915 by the Andrabus family following the death in World War I of the only sole surviving male heir. Cecil Chubb's interest in the local area led him to attend the sale. This is cool. With him bidding and purchasing Lot 15 on a whim for $6,600, which the equivalent today is $697,000. So it's over $500,000. As he wished to avoid the stones being acquired by someone overseas. That's why he bought it. It is also speculated that he bought the stones as a present for his wife. Check this out. Only for her to be less than pleased with his new purchase. I can imagine his wife saying those 3 words. You bought what? That's crazy, huh? Stonehenge. £6,000. That was today he bought that. Guess what else happened today? This happened today. That's right. 1937. J.R.R. Tolkien's The Hobbit is published by George Allen and Unwin in London. The setting of The Hobbit as described on its original dust jacket is, and I quote, ancient times between the age of fairy and the dominion of men in an unarmed fantasy world. The world is shown on the end paper map as western lands, westward, and wilder land as the east. Originally, the world was self-contained, but as Tolkien began working on Lord of the Rings, he decided these stories could fit into the legendarium. He had been working, that's a big word for me, legendarium. He had been working on privately for decades. The Hobbit and the Lord of the Rings became the end of the third age of Middle-earth with Arda. You will all be quizzed on that, by the way. Eventually, those tales of the earlier periods became published as the Silmarillion and other posthumous works. I'll be honest with you, I bought the Silmarillion. I knew nothing about The Hobbit other than you should do it because I was listening to Led Zeppelin. It was the 70s. The Hobbit, it was kind of like natural. I just grabbed the first Hobbit-type book. It was the Silmarillion, and I had no idea what I was reading, and I just threw it away. Anyway, enough of that. Sorry, JRR. I do like the movies. I do like the books. Today's another important day, too. If you like important days. You guys like music? Anybody into the Eagles? How about this guy? 1947, Donald William Felder, born September 21st, 1947, is an American rock musician, singer-songwriter, best known for his work as a lead guitarist of the Eagles from 1974 until his termination from the band in 2001. Felder was inducted into the Musicians Hall of Fame and Museum in 2016. Good guitar player. Pretty good guitar player. All right. Tomorrow night, you can put your wine glasses away because my guest is Jordan Stewart. He's a modern-day Viking who has a recipe for old-fashioned mead. And he's going to share that with us. It's a new business. Located him. We kind of stumbled together. Actually, someone recommended him to me, and he wants to do the show, so I'm going to bring him on. He looks like a Viking. Huge, muscular, big, blonde hair, shaved on the sides, crazy. Just like in the movies. Just like in the movies. So I'm having a Viking on the show. That's going to be cool. Going to learn how to drink mead. So it'll be mead with Dave. Maybe it'll just be wine with Dave. Tonight, though, you're in for a treat. Jeremy Gartner, Ph.D., right? And I kid you not, he's a rocket scientist. But he quit that world to help propel others into choosing a better career for themselves. Check it out.
Jeremy, come on, man. What's going on? You have a PhD in aerospace engineering. You go to Wharton. And what you do now with all of that is to help people to land their next job. And did I hear right that you started by doing that for $5 for a resume? This was a tiny subset of people's reaction when they first learned what I was doing on the side. But for me, this was my passion project, my creation, because I had the freedom to create a company from scratch. And there was nothing more fulfilling than that. And my scientific background, it helped me to use a data-driven approach to drive results in an efficient way. And this was my differentiator. And exactly because of that, I started attracting C-level people and technical leaders to assist them with their job search. Then my $5 became $25, which became $197 and $497, and now I'm at $797. And the demand keeps coming because I'm teaching unconventional methodologies to land a job. And also because I'm always over-delivering. Now, in parallel to that, I am also creating a mechanism to scale this up. Will it succeed? Will it become a $1 billion business? I don't know, only time will tell. But in that process, I am learning how to create a brand. I am learning about marketing, about digital strategies, about sales, about just everything you can think about when you have your own company. And the most important part, I am helping people, and I love it. So when people ask me, why did you do resumes for $5? I smile. Because when you have a vision and you start walking the way appears. Were you ever inspired to create something from scratch? My only advice, start small, because then if it fails, that's okay. And always remember my story. I started doing resumes for $5.
Hey, Jeremy, how are you?
Hey Dave, how's it going?
Good. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can hear you very well.
Awesome. Nice. I like that you do your own videos. They look really, really cool. And like we met on LinkedIn about 3 weeks ago, right? Or 4 weeks ago, maybe around there.
Something like that, yes. That is correct.
So let's talk about your past career a little bit. Your background's a little bit unconventional. You have a PhD in aerospace engineering, which I got to applaud you for that. That's huge, right? And yet you created a business to help people with job search. How did that happen? How did that come about from what you're doing to now something else?
My whole career was always about navigating different industries. I jumped from particle physics, where I worked at CERN in Switzerland, to aerospace engineering. Now I am in the medical device industry. And the rules of the game were always the same. You are going to create connections to be able to get your next job.
Mm-hmm.
So when I realized that people were not able to find jobs because they were just following the traditional advice,
Yep.
it just hit me that people just never learn the right way of how you are going to basically find your next opportunity. Whether it's because you've lost your job or whether it's because you just want to step up, it's the same rules of the game. So I just made it a mission of mine to be able to teach people the best tools and methodologies to be able to find a job in the most efficient way that 100% of the time is going to drive you interviews. I am approached a lot of time by friends, by families, and now by clients who just, tell me they're applying online to hundreds of jobs without getting any response.
Yeah.
And that's because they're just being misled. So that's how I got into that whole field, really, with that mission to teach people the effective way to get a job.
So you're all about, in your past career, you're all about efficiencies and testing, right? So is that what you're really big on, studying how people apply for jobs?
I am by training a scientist. I got my PhD in aerospace engineering, and I'm looking at that job problem as a system. Yep. With the mindset of how are you going to optimize the solution so that you can find a job and get interviews in the most efficient. To get there, had to go and dig into different disciplines, such as storytellers and marketing and sales. And we're going to get into that, but none of the job that we'll be performing at the end of the day has to do with the process to get that job. So yeah, like my approach is really from just creating hypotheses on, is there a better way to get to that interview, and really testing those one by one, collecting data, and just seeing what is going to be the percentage of success by going to each of those methods. So that's what I'm teaching my clients, to be able to waste the least time possible, because it's frustrating when you are looking for a job and you don't get even interviews, right?
Yep.
So that's what I'm trying to solve here.
That is really fascinating that you study that. That's so cool. Most people just say, hey, I'm really good at writing resumes. Let me do it for you. And then a friend will do it. You could type out the resume, and then you're kind of on your own. But so many resumes get thrown away, right? You got the digital resumes that come in to an HR department, and then like you have in the video, and then the other is all referrals, people that know someone that works there. And it's crazy. What's some of the biggest mistakes that people make when they go for a job interview?
The biggest mistake is assuming you got a strong resume is to submit it online. So when you submit a resume online, what is happening is that your resume will go to that ATS system.
Yep.
So to that software that is going to screen all of the resumes based on keywords. And that by itself is going to throw away more than 70% of all of the resumes. Not because you're not qualified, but because you did not spend enough time to find the right keywords to insert into your resume, which makes zero sense. And then it will go to an HR person. And that HR person is really just another ATS system.
With eyeballs, right? Resume. They just have eyeballs. That's the only difference.
Exactly that. They will just take that resume and match the keywords to the keywords of the job description. And some HR people are really good, but for the most part, they will just, they will not know how to translate your experience to the job needs.
Mm-hmm.
And at the end of the day, out of those 1,000 resumes, that hiring manager will have two piles of resume. One pile of about 10 resumes that made it to the online system. So you got into the 0.1% of the top applicants.
Wow.
And another pile of resume of also about 10 resumes that got referred to the hiring manager.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why from the very beginning would that hiring manager look at your resume if you applied online, if they got enough qualified candidates that were referred to them? So it makes zero. That's the biggest mistake, just to apply online, because that's the least efficient way to really get to those interviews. And that's really what I'm teaching people about how to get referrals when you do not know no one at the company.
So people can get really excited sending out all their resumes, uploading them. They could sit back and feel like they accomplished something in 1 week, saying, I just uploaded to 50 different sites and I'm just waiting and I'm expecting it to come through. But you're saying that chances of anything coming through is low.
It's not only that it's low, it's ridiculously low. And I spoke with someone at Google a few weeks ago who was telling me that more than 99% of the people working there were referred by someone.
Right, yeah.
So with that in mind, how could you really expect to find a job by applying online? That system is just the natural evolution of internet and everything, but you are not being evaluated on your capabilities on performing on the job, but on your capabilities of playing the ATS game, which makes zero sense to me. So the game that I'm playing that is much more efficient
is the game of just connecting with people, creating real relationship, so that you will find someone who will be willing to help you. And everyone understands the pain of looking for a job. So if you look at that problem as a system, it's a numbers game where you have really to find that one person that you will be able to connect with, that will help you and champion you basically to get to that interview.
So are you helping
And that
people?
works, by the way, 100% of the time.
Yeah, yeah. So is it true that you're helping people to get to know and build a relationship with someone who works at the job they actually want to get?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's the best approach. And just to give a very practical tip here is, when you try to connect with when you want a referral from someone, you want to speak with them over the phone. But people are very reluctant of just speaking with other people over the phone that they don't know. You know, time is precious for everyone, and they don't really want to share that time to someone that they don't know.
Right.
And I found, and I'm collecting data, like when you send a text message through LinkedIn, for example, to someone that you don't know, asking for them to speak with them over the phone, the response rate is between 10 to 30%, depending on, how you execute on that message, how much you personalize that message. But I found that if you are going to send them a video of that same text, of that same message, but of you speaking in a very casual way, so that that other person can feel your energies.
Yeah.
They can sense who you are. The response rate is above 50%.
Wow.
And that's huge in itself. And I worked with someone, an engineer, who got at the beginning 10% response rate from the video. And he was telling me, like, where are those 50% that you told me that I would be getting? And I told him, wait a second. Send me a few of the videos that you are sending.
Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. The videos were bad.
The execution, really bad, very bad lightning, very bad execution. And that's fine. It's a learning process. It's true. No one knows how to send videos of yourself speaking as a message. Yeah. And now today, that same person got response rate of 45%. Wow. And I believe that he will get to the 60% in a few weeks. So it's a learning process. It's not comfortable to send video DMs. No one is used to that, but it's like 50 years ago when they invented that voicemail, right? You were leaving a voicemail to someone over the phone that you didn't know. And why would you speak to a machine when you don't know what will be the response of the other person?
True.
And today with those videos, it's exactly the same thing. It's new. No one is used to it.
Yeah.
But it's driving results. And I have statistics and data to show by how much it's improving those results. So that's 100% of the time the way to go.
So someone's asking a question. Japnit Singh Seti. Wow, got to give the audio a try. I just feel nervous doing that since I feel like I am going too far or trying too hard. Yeah, isn't that a normal response? People feel like if I do a video or audio, it looks like I'm too hungry. I'm going over the top professional. What do your respond to that?
100% of the time, it feels uncomfortable. And the reason is because you've never done that. Mm-hmm. Everything new that you will be trying will be uncomfortable. So
yep.
A year or 2 years ago, I started doing Aikido, okay? And it was before my first lesson. I felt really stressed about what to expect, what is going to happen over there. And I was online just Googling what to expect from your first lesson in martial arts. And And then I got there and I went there a few times and then it started feeling normal. And it's the same thing with the video. It's the same thing every time.
Right, right. It just
Music instruments, any new process. Sorry?
no, you just froze up for a second. It's just like any new process. It takes time, right?
Absolutely. Any new process takes time. Any new process takes about, at least based on studies, at least about 50 repetitions. So
Wow.
it is not straightforward. It's not an easy thing to accomplish,
Yeah.
but if you are willing to, yeah, if you are willing to leave your comfort zone, that's the way to drive results. And that's why I have those one-on-one coaching to really help people to overcome that fear of sending a video DM.
Right. So what? How are your services laid out? Is it that they meet with you and then you work with them for a few months straight till they get the job? Is it just depending on what they need, like help with being on video, or just help connecting with people who are at a job, or is it all? How is that?
Well, there are two parts to the process. One part is to make sure that your resume will get to the right person. And that's a 4 times training. So we have 4 sessions so that at the end of those 4 sessions, you will be at a pace where you are capable of sending connection requests to 100 people within 10 minutes
Yeah.
and to send 30 video DMs within 2 hours. And I want my clients to do that every day. And that's what they get after 4 weeks of training. So that's one part of the process. But the second part, it's the resume, because if the resume is not aligned with the job that you are going to apply for, so that a hiring manager will look at your resume, but they will not invite you to the interview. So my process is always, first of all, by speaking with the person, free of charge. It's a free consult, just to understand and to assess really where they are at. Some people, I'm telling them, you do not need a resume. Some people, I'm telling them, you do not need that networking session. But most people really need help with both.
Yeah.
Because that's the only way to secure an interview, also driving the resume to the right person, but also making sure that that resume is going to meet the needs of the hiring manager.
So I've always heard people get very upset with HR departments. They're the gatekeepers, and they're just looking for
Yes, they
keywords.
are.
And if someone's missing a keyword, it's thrown in the garbage, like you said. But that person could be the best candidate, and yet they're just thrown away. So it must be tough being an HR person. No one likes you.
It must be tough to be an HR person. I would just say that HR people have much more responsibilities than just screening resumes. So the resume is just a small part of their job, but that part of their job that they have to do, you know, the whole system just made it in such a way that you don't get the best people. At the end of the day, the process is not driving the best people. I see very qualified people all the time
Yeah.
that do not get invited to the interviews because they did not insert the same keywords, and it doesn't make any sense. You should get an opportunity because you are qualified, not because you knew to insert those keywords into your application.
Yeah. Now, what kind of tips would you give someone that they're not going for the same industry? They're completely changing industries. What kind of advice would you give them?
Connecting with people. That's the same, like the game, it's people. It's not a software. It's not, forget about that online application process. Connect with people. So let's say you want to become a product manager at Google. Okay, that's a very popular one. So, and you have that unconventional background. And I'm saying that from a place where I've jumped myself across industries with very, very, very untraditional backgrounds every time.
Yep.
When you are going to apply for a job, for example, of product manager at Google, you will want to speak with product managers at Google. And by speaking with them, you will achieve two things. First of all, you will find someone who will be willing to refer you, but also you will be able to understand that internal language, that code that they speak, that is internal to the company and to that function. So that when you will get to those interviews, you will be able to speak like someone who is already working there, because you will understand the pain points and you will just know that code that they're talking because they work there. So it's about people. You have to connect with people. You have to speak with people, and the more people you are going to speak with, the more educated you will be, and the best position you will be to get that next opportunity. So just people. It's about people.
It's about people, but you know what? What about if you have someone that wants to change a career, whether it's working for another company that's in their industry or switching, but they're very shy, but they're brilliant. They're really, really smart at what they do. They just really are not people. How do you train someone like that to become a people person?
So first of all, when you are changing industry and something like that, your story, even if you are not coming from that specific background, your story needs to be aligned all the time with the needs of the hiring manager. So job seekers, they always make that mistake that they make it about them. Like, I need a job. Here's my resume. Please look at it and try to hire me. It's not about the job seekers. It's about the company that has a problem to solve. And because of that problem, they will want to pay money to someone full time to solve that problem for them. So if someone who is shy is coming to me, I would tell him or her, did you spend time identifying the gaps between your story and the story they're looking for? Because they have a story in mind. They know what they're looking for.
Right.
Can we fill those gaps based on your experience? Yes, okay, great. So even if you don't get the perfect experience, we'll craft a story that makes sense. And then you don't want to send those video DMs, you want to send text messages because you are shy. That's fine, but it means that you will get a 10% success rate versus 50% success rate with the videos. It means that if you are not willing to go outside of your comfort zone, you will need to work 5 times harder than if you would be willing to go outside of your comfort zone.
Yeah.
So that's fine being shy, but I'm training people, and I got that experience of leaving your comfort zone to stop being shy, because a lot of people are shy just because they don't know, they never got someone to train them to leave that shyness. They don't know, they don't have a guide, they don't know how to get there. And shy people, most of the time, when they're willing to leave that comfort zone, they will be the most successful one, because then it's like they hold something inside for so long that they're just brilliant. And it's not a barrier. On the contrary, it's just a challenge that they have to overcome.
Right. Well, I would think that if I was a hiring manager and someone was very shy in applying, but they got hired, well, first of all, I would think that they're the most honest, because I could tell they're shy. The people who are very braggadocious and very bold, it's like, I don't know, do I trust them? Are they telling the truth? So it's got to be tough to be a hiring manager. You have to read people pretty well. But I would think that a shy person would do pretty well in a business, because it means they're, let me back up. There was a quote that I love, still waters run deep, so be careful I don't drown you, So if they're quiet, they're very deep and they're very, very intelligent. That's not always the case, but. So when someone's doing, what's the one tip you could do? You would tell someone to change on their resume. What's the one thing that everyone should do on their resume? If they could change one thing.
So the resume, it is a marketing document. That's the whole goal, is to tease the hiring manager so that they will see that you are going to meet their needs, and they will want to speak with you because of that.
Mm-hmm.
So one thing to change on your resume, it doesn't make any sense to tailor your resume for each single job and to rewrite your resume every single time. So what I'm doing, I'm crafting resumes in a way that it's not going to change, except for the summary.
Mm-hmm.
So my tip would be to add a summary at the top of the resume with 3 bullet points, no more than that, where you are going to take to look at the job description and the job requirements. You will look at your experience, and you will tie sentences showing how your experience is going to help the hiring manager.
Mm-hmm.
You craft 3 sentences like that, and it doesn't matter what is the story below that. You show right away that you are capable of solving their problems.
So it's just bam, right out of the gate. Someone has a question. Japnit is asking, if I have reached out someone and they have connected with me and have read my message, and even after a follow-up, if I do not get a response, should I just move on? How many follow-ups should one make? That's a good question, Japnit.
It is a very good question. My advice is follow up twice, maximum 3 times, with a few business days in between. And if that person doesn't respond, that's okay. You move on.
Okay.
It's a sales process, meaning that ahead of time, you know that not everyone will be responsive to your ask. So it's a sales process because you have to find someone you have to convince someone to push that resume for you to someone else that you don't know.
Yeah. So are you suggesting that this relationship starts on LinkedIn, right? Am I assuming that?
I am using only LinkedIn for that because that's the best networking platform that exists today.
Okay.
And I know how to leverage it in a very, very, very efficient way so that you can get referrals. Doesn't matter for what company, doesn't matter for what job. Everyone is there today. So LinkedIn, it's just that one place where you can, the best platform really to find your next job, and not by applying online, but just by connecting with people over there.
Let me ask you a question, because I didn't think of this. So you're helping individuals get a job. What about businesses trying to get into another business to help them? Is it this similar process working through LinkedIn?
What do you mean, for example?
Well, for instance, say there's a commercial insurance agent who sells commercial insurance for businesses, and they're on LinkedIn, and they're looking to connect with, I don't know, whatever, name any business, ABC business. And they're trying to get in there, they're trying to connect, but it's all on LinkedIn. It's not a resume, they're not trying to get a job there, but they're trying to get them as a client.
It's the same exact thing.
It is. All right, so what you're teaching individuals could work for B2B.
It will work for B2C, for B2B, at the end of the day, people are people. And behind a business, there is a person. And on LinkedIn, you can find that person, and you can approach that person by connecting with that person by sending a video DM. And the response rate, assuming you will provide value to that person, will be the same.
Yeah.
So what I am doing, for example, I'm writing a lot of content on LinkedIn about advice and tips on how to find a job. And people will react to those posts. So I will send to those people a video DM, offering them for feedback for their resume, offering them help and value. with no strings attached. And some of those people will become my clients. So, and
Yeah.
that same exact process will apply for businesses, because at the end of the day, people are people. And if you are going to be a business helping, for example, startups to expand globally, you are going to create a post and people from startups are going to comment on that post. And you can just send them a video DM. If you would like some advice, some tips free of charge, let me know. Happy to share with you what works for my clients.
Oh,
So
well, because it's funny. I was thinking you're helping individuals. I'm like, wait a minute. What about businesses trying to get into business? I mean, I know it's not rocket science.
it is the same process. What you want to do when you connect with someone that you do not know is to remove all of those barriers that prevent that person from knowing you, from knowing who you are.
Wow.
And sending just a text message means that you are hiding behind text, you are hiding behind the screen, and you are keeping a lot of barriers between you and that person. But when you send a video, you are showing who you are, and right away you have that connection. You have all of those other dimensions that you just don't get to an email or to a text. So it's the same
Wow.
process, one to one.
You and I need to spend some time. We absolutely need to spend some time talking. We'll have to share some secrets back and forth because you're really fascinating, Jeremy. I'm really liking this interview, learning so much. I mean, my business could use you, so that we'll talk about that later.
Absolutely.
What does it look like when someone hires you? What I wrote this down? What does it look like when someone hires you to help them? Oh, I see. I already asked you that earlier. I'm sorry. That's you've got like what four tracks. You look at the resume,
Yes.
help them connect.
Yeah, so we always start with a free assessment of the situation where they get always a lot of advice. My goal when I meet with people is really to give them as much value as possible during those 30 minutes so that they can realize that if that's what I can deliver in 30 minutes, what they will get if they will work with me.
Yep.
So that's my approach. And my goal is to help people. So even if they don't work with me, at the end of the day, I created a connection, and that is very satisfying in itself. And at least they will be equipped with the right tools to be able to find a job. And it's such a painful problem that I really see that as a mission to really help people and teach people the right ways to find the next opportunity. So that's the way to go. Just schedule, first a free 30 minutes meeting with me on LinkedIn.
Yeah, well, I will do it. I'll take you up on that. Do you feel like a lot of people that you meet that are looking for these jobs are underpaid or under respected?
Not at all.
No?
Not at all. You will find everyone at some stage in their life will want to move up to a different job, either because they lost their job, that's something that happens, or because they don't like their company and they want to move to a different company,
Right.
or because they feel that they just, they cannot grow anymore. They outgrew their roles. So they want a better opportunity. And what I find fascinating is once you master that process of finding a job, it's going to be the same process that will keep repeating itself every few years during your whole 50 years of professional career. So someone will work between the 20s typically to the 70s. So we have a 50 years lifespan of just working. And every 3 years, you will look for a different job. That's, I think, what is the average for at least young people.
That would make sense.
And I work with young people and I work with executives. And that same approach is always working irrelevant to your industry, irrelevant to your job, to your function. irrelevant to how senior you are at your company. It's always the same process, which is why I'm always trying to teach people how to look for a job, so that once they finish working with me, they don't need ever another career coach, because they just, and it's the same pain point, irrelevant where you are in your career and how old are you and what is your gender, and irrelevant to all those things.
Wow. It's great having you on. It really is. Very fascinating. I'm glad you're doing this for other people. So right underneath your name, everybody listening, it's Jeremy Gartner, Ph.D., Career Propulsion. First of all, Jeremy, great name. Really good name. It ties in with your old career. You're not letting that go. You're kind of still pulling that in.
Not.
And you're really giving them some really good fuel to just get to the next job that they're looking for. You probably feel like when you help someone, you make a friend for life because they're really glad they got that job.
Always, all the time. And all of the people that I help, even though it's typically a 4 weeks contract, I will typically keep meeting with them every 2 or 3 weeks, not asking for any money or anything, but just because I care about them.
Yeah.
We end up developing a relationship and I want them to find a job. So just to follow up with them and see if they need help and see where they are at and give them tips on moving on, so they end up finding a job. And it's really creating relationships. And
Right. Is there one industry that you really are good at getting people in, or that doesn't matter?
It doesn't matter. I love working with salespeople because salespeople have very exact numbers about their achievements. So it's very easy to work with them and they know how to sell. So salespeople, those are the ones who have the easiest time to find the next opportunity once you give them the right tools. But at the same time, I work a lot also with people with a very technical background because of my PhD in aerospace engineering. So when I'm working with them on the resume, they're always telling me, you are the first person who finally gets what I'm doing. So I work with all of the industries, the system and the approaches around people, and that works the same way for everyone. Now the response rate and the acceptance rate will change based on the demographics, based in if you are going to apply to a technical job or to a sales job, but the approach is always the same, and it's always driving those same results of getting an interview, which is all you can ask when you are looking for a job.
That's true. That's awesome. Listen, thank you so much for coming on the show, and I will contact you, and we're already connected on LinkedIn, so I want everybody to go ahead to careerpropulsion.com and follow Jeremy on LinkedIn. He's on LinkedIn, you're posting a lot on LinkedIn, so.
Yeah, I'm posting on LinkedIn. I'm creating content 2 or 3 times a week. I'm posting videos as well.
Yeah.
And just send me a connection request. I'm always happy to connect with people. And once a month, typically the first week of the month, I'm always trying to open my calendar to anyone. So I will create always 10 slots, 5 to 10 slots, where I will just invite people who want to speak with me about anything. It doesn't have to be job related. I have a very vast experience where I moved from France to Israel. Now I'm in the US. I worked in physics, in particle physics, in aerospace engineering, in the medical device industry. I'm doing an executive MBA at Wharton. And I'm also helping people to get accepted to those executive MBA programs. And I'm doing all of that when I have a family. So it is tough, but it is possible to do that when you have a family. It doesn't have to come to the expense of the ones that you love. And I really believe in dreaming big. And once you dream really big, you can always create a plan to get where you want to go. It's a lot of work. It's not always easy, but there's always a plan that you can create once you have that vision. So just connect with me on LinkedIn, and just, happy to connect with you.
Yeah, I'm looking at your LinkedIn page now. I mean, so Jeremy is transforming job seekers into powerful networkers who land interviews without applying online. Yeah, that's the bad way. That's good. We're going to have to follow your way online. Now. DM me now for a free consult. Program manager with customer-facing experience. So you really do help people with customer-facing experiences.
So I have two jobs. I have a career propulsion where I'm helping people, but I also have a full-time job at Becton Dickinson in the medical technology, in the medtech industry.
Yeah.
Where I am a program manager, and I have customers that I'm leading, basically. So, it's those two. Every person has different faces and has different experiences, and that's one of them that I have.
Right. This is great. Man, thank you so much for coming on the show. This is very good. Everybody out there, go ahead and contact him. Get that free consult. And just like Japnit Sethi, he was on here asking some questions. Looks like his profile picture looks like he's graduated from something. I don't know what. But go ahead and respond to him, Jeremy, in the comments when we're done. But thank you so much for coming on the show. It's 9:56. We're going to wrap it up. Let's stay in touch.
Absolutely, Dave. Thank you very much for having me. It was a lot of fun.
No problem. Anytime. I'll have to have you on again in 2021.
Absolutely.
Okay. Bye-bye.
Sounds good. Okay, Dave. Thank you very much.
That was cool. That was good. Good guy. Good guy. Jeremy Gartner. So go ahead and follow him. But really, more importantly, Jeremy Gartner on LinkedIn. Gartner. Jeremy Gartner. I've really not heard anybody describe that process the way he did, where everyone's just feels so good uploading resume, and they sit back and they're proud of themselves. And then the next day they do it again, but it's extremely low success rates. And as discouraging as that is, hearing him say that, it is the truth. So talk to him. He's a great guy. I'm so glad I had him on the show. And Jeremy, you can stay on. We have a little after party. I know he's in the other room if he wants to hang. And Japnit says, thanks, Jeremy. Awesome. Thank you for checking out. Go ahead and follow me, Jeremy, up here on Wine with Dave Facebook page. But more than that, go ahead and connect with Jeremy, because I really want to get you some help. I know you're afraid to kind of wear people out and keep contacting, but Jeremy can get you through some of those hoops. He'll get you that job that you're looking for. Connect with him. Anyway, it is 9:58 on a Monday night, September 21st. And I typically have a closing joke. And tonight is a typical night for that closing joke. Keeping with the smart, intelligent theme of tonight, if you want to call it that. Where's my sound? Where'd that go? Hold on. Oh my gosh, I'm missing my music. There it is. I need an engineer. Gotta have an engineer to do this too. Anyway, so and I always say this, there are 3 types of people in the world. Those of us who are good at math, and those of us who aren't. Three types of people. Those of us who aren't. Take care. Tomorrow night, I got a Viking. Tune in.